Good evening, good evening. What's going on, pro wrestling fans of all shapes and sizes from all around the world? Welcome to another Pro Wrestling Talk video brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the U to the Tube. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. So, three things for this episode. One, going to do another current standings update for the Best of Super Juniors 32 tournament. It's coming down to the wire. It's really coming down to the wire. Only 2 days of block matches left. So, the finals is right around the corner. So, I'll go over the current standings. I will then give my reviews of both WWE Battleground Tampa and AEW Double or Nothing 2025. And quite action-packed Memorial Day weekend full of pro wrestling. So, without further ado, let's get started with the Best of Super Juniors 32. Only 2 days of block matches left. 1 day for Block A and 1 day for Block B. So let's get right to it. Alright, starting with Block A. Alrighty. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Sitting at the bottom, we have three competitors tied at 6 points each with records of 3 and 5 each. They are Ninja Mac, Robbie X, and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. Let's take a look at Yoshinobu Kanemaru. 3 and 5 with 6 points. His 3 victories were over Kosei Fujita, Francesco Akira, and Clark Connors. 5 losses to Dragon Dia, Robbie X, Hiromu Takahashi, Ninja Mac, and Kushida. And unfortunately, Kanemaru is mathematically eliminated. Alright, Robbie X. Same record, 3 and 5, 6 points. Victories over Kushida, Kosei Fujita, and Yoshinobu Kanemaru, but losses to Master Wato, Ninja Mac, Francesco Akira, Clark Connors, and Dragon Dia. And then Ninja Mac, 3 and 5, 6 points. Victories over Yoshinobu Kanemaru, Robbie X, and Kosei Fujita, but losses to Kushida, Master Wato, Hiromu Takahashi, Francesco Akira, and Clark Connors. But yeah, all 3 of Ninja Mac, Robbie X, and Yoshinobu Kanemaru are mathematically eliminated. Okay. Next up, we have 4 competitors sitting at 8 points each with records of 4 and 4. They are Kushida, Kosei Fujita, Francesco Akira, and Dragon Dia. Let's take a look at Dragon Dia. 4 and 4. 4 victories over Yoshinobu Kanemaru, Clark Connors, Robbie X, and Hiromu Takahashi, I'm sorry. And then 4 losses to Kushida, Master Wato, Kosei Fujita, and Francesco Akira. Alright. Francesco Akira, same record. 4 victories over Dragon Dia, Robbie X, Hiromu Takahashi, and Ninja Mac. Losses to Master Wato, Kosei Fujita, Clark Connors, and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. Alright. Kosei Fujita. Same record, 4 and 4. Victories over Dragon Dia, Francesco Akira, Hiromu Takahashi, and Master Wato. But 4 losses to Kushida, Ninja Mac, Robbie X, Yoshinobu Kanemaru. And then Kushida, same record, Victories over Dragon Dia, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, Kosei Fujita, and Ninja Mac. But losses to Master Wato, Hiromu Takahashi, Clark Connors, and Robbie X. And then we have 3 competitors sitting at the top right now, tied at 10 points each with 5-3 records. Okay? Those 3. Master Wato, Hiromu Takahashi, and Clark Connors. Let's take a look at Clark Connors. Record of 5-3. Victories over Kushida, Master Wato, Ninja Mac, Francesco Akira, and Robbie X. The 3 losses are to Hiromu Takahashi, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, and Dragon Dia. Okay? Hiromu. Same record. Victories over Yoshinobu Kanemaru, Clark Connors, Ninja Mac, Master Wato, and Kushida. 3 losses to Francesco Akira, Kosei Fujita, and Dragon Dia. Okay. And then, last, Master Wato. Same record, 5-3. Victories over Dragon Dia, Robbie X, Francesco Akira, Ninja Mac, and Kushida. Losses to Hiromu Takahashi, Kosei Fujita, and Clark Connors. Okay, so let's see. Between these top 3, let me get a good look here. Because this might be a little complicated. Let's see. So Master Wato. So between Master Wato, Dragon Dia, or not Dragon Dia, Clark Connors, and Hiromu. So Master Wato, okay, has lost to both Clark Connors and Hiromu. Hiromu has beaten Master Wato and Clark Connors. So technically Hiromu has the advantage, having wins over both Master Wato and Clark Connors. Okay, so, So pretty much all Hiromu has to do is win, and he takes the A block. Yeah, when you really think about it, all Hiromu has to do is win his last match, and he wins. He wins the A block. Because even if Master Wato or Clark Connors win their final match, Hiromu owns the tiebreaker. So honestly, the ball is really in Hiromu's court. All Hiromu has to do is win his final match, and he takes the A block due to having the tiebreaker over Master Wato and Clark Connors. Now, for Master Wato needs both Hiromu and Clark to lose, and Master Wato needs to win. And then Clark Connors needs Hiromu to lose, and he needs to win his. Because Clark Connors has beaten Master Wato, so he really just needs Hiromu to lose, and he needs to win his last match. Now, as far as the others, Now, Dragon Dia, now he needs to win his match. And he needs, Master Watto to lose. The others is kind of hard to say. As a matter of fact, actually, I don't think Francesco Akira can, even if he wins, due to the tiebreaker. Actually, I don't think Francesco Akira can win. So let me fix that. Kosei Fujita. So Kosei Fujita is still in it. So if Kosei Fujita can win his match, actually, hold up. If Kosei Fujita wins his match, then I think he's in, because he has the tiebreaker over because he would then have the tiebreaker over Master Watto and Hiromu and Clark. Yeah. If he can win, if he can defeat Clark Connors in his last match, Kosei Fujita would have it. So realistically, okay, so actually, Kosei Fujita would need Hiromu to lose. So if Kosei Fujita wins and Hiromu loses, then Kosei Fujita wins the A block. Yeah. Yeah. Hiromu has the advantage being in the lead over Fujita, but if Kosei Fujita wins and Hiromu loses, then Kosei Fujita. But then again, Master Watto, though. It's still going to be tough. Kushida... Actually, now that I think about it, Kushida can't win it either because of the double tiebreaker, because he's lost to Master Watto, Hiromu, and Clark. So actually, Kushida can't get in. So yeah, I think Master Watto, Hiromu Takahashi, Kosei Fujita, Clark Connors, and Dragon Dia are the only ones that still have a chance at winning the A block. Yeah. So, we'll have to see how it goes. Let's look at the final matchups. Kushida versus Francesco Akira. It's not going to matter too much between those two. Let's see. Kosei Fujita versus Clark Connors. That is a big, big match between those two. They need that victory. Hiromu and Robbie X. You know, Hiromu definitely needs to win that to give himself the best chance. Master Watto versus Yoshinobu Kanemaru. Could be tough, being that he's from House of Torture. Could try to cheat. Ninja Mac versus Dragon Dia. Dragon Dia really needs that victory. And I know Ninja Mac hasn't had a great tournament, but, you know, he could still play spoiler. But those are your final A block matchups. Kushida versus Francesco Akira. Kosei Fujita versus Clark Connors. Robbie X versus Hiromu Takahashi. And Master Watto versus Yoshinobu Kanemaru, and Ninja Mac versus Dragon Dia. All those happen tomorrow, May 27th. All right, now that that's done, let's shift over to the B block. Okay, B block is very interesting. All right. So, sitting at the bottom of the B block, got 3 competitors that have 6 points apiece on 3 and 5 records. They are Ryusuke Taguchi, Kevin Knight, and Teton. Let's take a look at Teton. Kind of a shocker that he's finishing lower than expected. But right now, 3 and 5, 6 points. Teton has 3 victories over Mao, Taiji Ishimori, and Ryusuke Taguchi, but 5 losses to El Desperado, Yo, Kevin Knight, Robbie Eagles, Show. Alright, let's take a look at Kevin Knight. Same record. Victories over Nick Wayne, Show, and Teton, but losses to El Desperado, Yo, Robbie Eagles, Taiji Ishimori, and Mao. And then Ryusuke Taguchi, same record, 3 and 5. Victories over Yo, Taiji Ishimori, and Show, but losses to El Desperado, Teton, Robbie Eagles, Nick Wayne, and Mao. All right, we have 4 competitors sitting at 8 points each, all with 4 and 4 records. They are Robbie Eagles, Taiji Ishimori, Show, and Nick Wayne. Let's take a look at Nick Wayne from AEW. 4 and 4, victories over Show, Robbie Eagles, Ryusuke Taguchi, and El Desperado, but then went on a 4-match losing streak, losing to Yo, Kevin Knight, Taiji Ishimori, and Mao. So, really, really tough break for Nick Wayne. But he's not completely out of it yet, I don't think. Alright, let's look at Show. Same record. Victories over Yo, Teton, Robbie Eagles, and Taiji Ishimori, but losses to El Desperado, Ryusuke Taguchi, Kevin Knight, Nick Wayne. Alright. Taiji Ishimori. 4 and 4. Victories over El Desperado, Kevin Knight, Robbie Eagles, and Nick Wayne. Losses to Ryusuke Taguchi, Teton, Show, and Mao. Okay. And then Robbie Eagles. 4 and 4. Victories over Ryusuke Taguchi, Yo, Kevin Knight, Teton. Losses to Taiji Ishimori, Show, Nick Wayne, Mao. And then we have 3 competitors tied at 10 points each. All 3 with 5 and 3 records. They are El Desperado, Yo, and Mao. Let's take a look at Mao from DDT. 5 and 3 with victories over Ryusuke Taguchi, Kevin Knight, Robbie Eagles, Taiji Ishimori, and Nick Wayne. His 3 losses were to El Desperado, Yo, and Teton. Alright, Yo started off kind of struggling, but then went on a big surge. Yo has victories over El Desperado, Kevin Knight, Teton, Nick Wayne, and Mao, but losses to Ryusuke Taguchi, Robbie Eagles, and Show. And finally, the current IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, El Desperado. 5 and 3. Victories over Mao, Show, Teton, Kevin Knight, and what am I talking about? Ryusuke Taguchi. But 3 losses to Yo, Taiji Ishimori, and Nick Wayne. Okay. So, right now, currently, Yo would be at the top right now because he actually has victories over both El Desperado and Mao. So right now, Yo is at the top. because he has the tiebreaker. So all Yo has to do, I mean, he wins his last match, he's pretty much in. El Desperado would need to win, and he would need Yo to lose. Mal, let's see. See, Mal's lost to both El Desperado and Yo. So Mal would need to win, and he would need Despy and Yo to lose in order to take the block. Now, Nick Wayne. So Nick Wayne, he's going to need some help. He's got to win his match, and then he needs Mal and Yo to lose their match. But I'm not sure if even that will help, because they both have the tiebreaker over them. But we'll see. We'll see. Show. It might be a little hard, but he has to beat Mal to really have a chance, and he's going to need Despy to lose. Ishimori. So Ishimori needs he needs to win his match against Yo, and he needs Mal to lose. And then Robbie Eagles needs to beat Despy, and he needs Mal to lose. To better his chances. So it's going to be interesting. But now that I think about it, I don't think Nick Wayne has a chance. Because he's lost. Yeah, I don't think Nick Wayne has a chance because he's lost to two of the top guys. So, yeah, I think Nick Wayne is out. And Show, like I said, Show needs to beat Mal. Ishimori needs to beat Yo and needs Mal to lose. And Eagles also needs, well, yeah, they really need Mal to lose. And I think that should better their chances. But that's what I'm getting. I might be off a little bit, but that I believe that's how it is. Let's see. Final matchups for Block B will be on May 29th. You have El Desperado versus Robbie Eagles. Oh, that's going to be a tough one. Ryusuke Taguchi versus Kevin Knight. That one doesn't mean anything. Yo versus Taiji Ishimori. That's going to be a tough one. Teton versus Nick Wayne. Show versus Mal. So, got some interesting final matchups here for Block B. But yeah, should be good. Should be really good. And just to reiterate, the finals of the New Japan Best of Super Juniors 32 will take place this Sunday, June 1st. So, we will know after May 29th who will be in the finals representing Block B and representing Block A. So, we'll see how it goes. Okay. Now, Now that that's over with, let's get started with our reviews. First up, gonna review WWE Battleground Tampa, or Battleground 2025. So Battleground took place on May 25th. This was at the Yuengling Center in Tampa, Florida. Had 6 matches for the show, but overall a really good show. So let me get my graphics up and we will get right into it. Here we go. All right, first up. All right, opened up Battleground Tampa with the NXT Women's North American Championship match. Ruca defended the title against former champion Kelani Jordynne. This was an excellent match to start the show off. I mean, if you ask me, it was main event caliber. About 13 minutes long. A lot of high flying, a lot of counters, and just back and forth from both of these ladies. I mean, just Ruca and Kelani Jordynne, incredible athletes. It's no surprise that Ruca's the champion. Kelani Jordynne was the first champion. No surprise there. And I mean, both of these ladies, they just went at it, and it was a phenomenal match. And Ruca hit the best soul snatcher she's ever pulled off. Off the top turnbuckle, good distance, right on the money. Hit, might as well have been a super soul snatcher. Hit Kelani Jordynne with that, pinned her for the 3 count. Ruca, still your NXT Women's North American Champion. But like I said, that was a phenomenal match. I have no doubt that Ruca will be a future main roster champion. And who knows, maybe Kelani Jordynne as well. But both of those ladies, incredible opening match for Battleground Tampa. Incredible. All right, let's go to the next match. About trios action. Alrighty. We had the trio of the NXT Tag Team Champions, Hank and Tank, Hank Walker, Tank Ledger, teaming up with Josh Briggs to take on the Culling, made up of Brooks Jensen, Niko, Vance, and Shawn Spears. Another pretty solid match. It was under 10 minutes, though. It was about 9 minutes, 26 seconds. So didn't quite hit the 10-minute mark. Was the shortest match of all of the matches. But still a pretty decent match. The action was intense between both teams. Definitely back and forth. I know Izzy Dame was in the corner of the Culling. But great chemistry overall with Hank and Tank and Briggs. Even seeing a spot where they all 3 did a high flying move. Of course, Briggs off the apron. And yeah, was really cool to see. And sure enough, Hank and Tank and Briggs would end up getting the victory as Tank pinned Brooks Jensen after Hank and Tank hit that double team finisher, that shoulder tackle running power slam combination. And it looked like the Culling was gonna beat down the winners. Izzy Dame went to get a chair, but she was stopped by the returning Yoshiki Inamura, who came to even the odds and help fight off the Culling. Of course, him and Josh Briggs reunited. So a great ending there for the good guys. But like I said, overall, pretty good trios match. Alrighty, let's go to our next matchup. Alright. The Don of NXT, Tony D'Angelo, took on the underboss, Channing Stacks Lorenzo. One-on-one action. Overall, I felt like this match told a good story. You know, both let out a lot of frustrations and just everything built up to this match. And they just let it all out. Match went over 15 minutes. Almost went 15 and a half minutes. But it was good. It told a good story. I love the smack talk between both. And just, like I said, told a good story. I was not a fan of the finish. So, Luca Crucifino showed up and just kind of stared at Tony D. And with that distraction, Stacks took advantage, hitting Tony D with a low blow, and then hitting the running knee strike, and then pinning him for the 3 count. Stacks with the victory. Luca Crucifino enters the ring like he's about to hug Tony D, and he kind of, you know, kept him at bay and left him. Like, it's kind of weird. It's kind of a weird finish. Luca, did Luca not realize that he pretty much cost Tony D the match? I don't know if that was intentional or what, but, and then him getting in the ring and wanting to hug Tony D, I'm like, that looked weird. That looked really weird. So, but it was a good match, though. It was a good back and forth match. All right. How about another title match? Our next title match, back to the ladies. Yeah. All right, we have the NXT Women's Championship on the line as the champion, Stephanie Vaquer, defended against Juggernaut Jordynne Grace. Excellent match between both these ladies. They destroyed each other. Of course, great sign of sportsmanship at the beginning, but these ladies went to war. Went a little over 16 minutes, but like I said, both these ladies went to war, continuously showing why WWE, they can argue that they have a great women's division, and this just adds on to that. But great match, a great clash of styles between both Jordynne Grace and Stephanie Vaquer. And even shout out to Jordynne Grace, who kicked out of the SVB. I did not, or SBV or SVB, something like that. But yeah, she kicked out of it. I was shocked. I was very shocked. But it took a spiral tap from Stephanie Vaquer to finish off Jordynne Grace. Pinned her for the 1-2-3. Beautifully executed. Stephanie Vaquer, still your NXT Women's Champion. Another victory for her. Another successful title defense. And apparently she kind of locked eyes with sitting in the front row from AAA, Dallas and Cheek Tormenta. Kind of giving her that stare, which looks like they may be having something going. Maybe Worlds Collide involving those three. We shall see. But it's looking like that could be what happens. All right. Let's go to our next match. Here we go. All right. We have the NXT Championship on the line. As the champion, Femi defended against Myles Borne of the No Quarter Catch Crew. And I found out through the official introductions, I did not know Myles Borne was from Wilmington, North Carolina. So, that's a big plus. I love my North Carolinian wrestlers. I try to support them as much as I can. But yeah, Myles Borne is from Wilmington. So I thought that was really cool. Definitely, I'm getting Kyle Fletcher, Randy Orton vibes from Myles Borne, just in look and everything. But Myles Borne, he put up a good fight, a really good fight against Obafemi. I mean, just incredible. Even to the point where he kicked out of a fall from grace power bomb and just looked great. Like Myles Borne, really put up a great fight. Match was 16 minutes 50 seconds, so almost 17 minutes. But Myles Borne, I mean, he was doing some high flying, some striking, some power moves. I mean, definitely well rounded, and really took it to the ruler, Obafemi. But Obafemi eventually got his bearings and was able to finally put away Myles Borne after 2 fall from grace power bombs. Pinned him for the 1-2-3. Obafemi still your NXT champion. And I believe that makes 6 defenses for Obafemi of this title now. No, 5. So that's 5. But yeah, Obafemi still showing why he's the top guy in NXT. And, you know, a great nod of sportsmanship to Myles Borne. And even as Obafemi was walking away, he was slapping hands with fans. So thought that was pretty cool. But honestly, there's no telling who's going to dethrone Obafemi. But Myles Borne put up an excellent fight. And I think definitely Charlie Dempsey was jealous. Definitely jealous. But great effort from Myles Borne. Looked good. And then the main event of WWE Battleground Tampa came down to this historic main event. That's right. The TNA World Championship on the line in the main event of an NXT PLE. Can you believe it? The champion, Joe Hendry, defending against Trick Williams. Good solid match. I felt like most of the time it seemed like the crowd was on the side of Trick Williams, and it looked like he was getting the best of Joe Hendry, especially early in the match. I don't know. Maybe y'all saw something different, but that's the vibe I got. But match lasted 15 minutes, and you know Joe Hendry was able to get his groove going later in the match. And shout out to Trick Williams busting out a spinner Rooney as he was looking at Booker T busting out the spinner Rooney, and then of course turn around and ate a bookend from Joe Hendry. So I thought that was pretty funny sequence. But back and forth, Trick was wanting to use the title belt to cheat. Joe Hendry eventually stopped him and was looking to hit him with a standing ovation, but a rake of the eyes from Trick Williams, and was able to put him down afterwards with a trick shot, pinned him for the 1-2-3, and ladies and gentlemen, Trick Williams is your new TNA World Champion, winning it in the main event of a WWE PLE. Wow. Wow. Well, I guess it's safe to say we're probably going to be seeing a little more Trick Williams in TNA now that he's the top champion of the promotion. And that just further kind of seals more strength with this WWE TNA partnership. it'll be very interesting to see where they go from there this coming Tuesday for NXT. And even this coming Thursday for TNA Impact. But, yeah, Trick Williams, your new TNA World Champ. It's crazy, isn't it? But, yeah, so that was Battleground Tampa. Honestly, I thought it was a great show. Overall, I thought it was a great show. I really didn't have a lot of complaints. I thought it was a great show overall. All right. Now we switch gears to AEW Double or Nothing 2025. This took place same day, May 25th. This was at the Desert Diamond Arena in Glendale, Arizona. Had a lot of matches. Had a lot of matches for this show. Two of them were on the buy-in, the pre-show. So we're going to do the buy-in first. Let's get to it. All right, starting off of the buy-in. Had a tag team match featuring the ladies. We had the team of Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford taking on the team of Anna Jay and Harley Cameron. I have to say, this was a pretty action-packed match. For it to have been the first buy-in match, it was pretty action-packed. Lasted 12 and a half minutes long, so hey, got a decent amount of time. But yeah, definitely went back and forth. Really liked how Megan Bayne was really showcasing her power and dominance. But once Anna Jay and Harley Cameron got their win going throughout the match, they really gelled well as a unit. And it ended up paying off. In the end, Harley Cameron picks up the victory for her team, pinning Penelope Ford after hitting her with pretty much the Smash Mouth. Very similar to what Sumi Sakai used to use as a finisher. I mean, they look pretty much the same. But yeah, Harley Cameron getting the victory for her and Anna Jay. So, good stuff. That match was good. I really didn't have any complaints. Thought the match was good. Okay. So next up, which I didn't have a main graphic for this one, but let's see. But this is the closest that I was able to get. But next match, and this was the last match of the buy-in. We had a 8-man tag match. We had a combination of Roppongi Vice and Crew, which is Trent Beretta, Rocky Romero, Lio Rush, Action Andretti, and they took on the team of Bandido, AR Fox, and Los Titanes del Aire, which is the combination of Hologram and Komander. I hope I said that correctly. If I didn't, I do apologize. Woo! This was definitely a very action-packed match with a lot of high-flying, a lot of flips and tricks, and all of the above. The works. This match went a little over 13 minutes. But honestly, a lot of great action. Very solid between both teams. Really could have gone either way. Both teams look very strong. And yeah, I really don't have any complaints. I thought overall a pretty solid buy-in. Bandido pinned Action Andretti with an assisted 21 plex. Of course, assisted by his partners just for some extra added effect. But yeah, got the victory. But yeah, AR Fox, Bandido, Hologram, Komander, your winners. But a phenomenal match. Great showing between both teams. But yeah, pretty solid buy-in. Okay. Now we go from the buy-in to the main card. So let's go ahead and get going with the first of the main card. Here we go. Alright. Main card started off with the Women's Owen Hart Foundation Cup Tournament Finals. It came down to Mercedes Moné against Jamie Hayter. Match went over 21 minutes, almost 21 and a half minutes. Back and forth between Mercedes and Jamie Hayter. The action was really good overall. Was not a fan of the finish. I thought the finish looked a little weak. I don't know if Mercedes meant to do a DDT into a roll-up or if it was just meant to be a roll-up. But she ducked the Hayter raid and pretty much, I guess, hit a hammerlock DDT into a roll-up on Jamie Hayter, and she got the 3 count. And therefore, Mercedes has won the Owen Hart Foundation Cup for the women. Therefore, she has earned herself a AEW Women's World Championship title shot at All in Texas. Honestly, it was really a bummer, but I just hope if y'all are going to have her get this match and potentially win, can y'all please have her drop the TBS title? Please don't let her have both the AEW Women's title and the TBS title. Like, please don't. Please don't. Like, if you're going to have her win that AEW Women's World Championship, have Mercedes drop the TBS title. Please. I'm begging y'all. But, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it'll happen. I don't know. But she needs to drop the TBS title. Like, on the real. She needs to drop the TBS title. Alright. Let's go to our next match. Okay. We had a tag match. Nigel McGuinness and Daniel Garcia versus FTR. Match was alright. I know it involved a lot of FTR trolling Tony Schiavone, so wasn't really surprised there. The match went 23 minutes, 31 seconds, so it actually went pretty long. But I do understand how they wanted to really, have time to, like, troll Tony Schiavone and kind of take those shots at him. So I totally get it. And honestly, the match did what it was supposed to do. I mean, I'm not really surprised at the outcome. But it was pretty intense. And FTR, of course, Stokely accompanied them and, definitely showed themselves as heels. But Dax got the submission victory, submitting Daniel Garcia with a sharpshooter, although he passed out. He actually passed out. He didn't tap. He passed out. But yeah, FTR win. Not surprised. Really not surprised. But, poor Nigel McGuinness. He tried, though. He tried. All right. Next up, things got very brutal in this next match. Here we go. All right. We had the stretcher match. Mark Briscoe versus Ricochet. Match was very brutal. Went a little over 16 minutes. Mark Briscoe got jacked up, got bloodied up, got his face smashed repeatedly on the stretcher. But, he hung in there and, had some good spots as well. Of course, hitting the froggy bow on Ricochet. Ricochet doing a shooting star and completely missing and landing on the stretcher. Ooh, that had to have been painful. Had to have been really painful. But some great back and forth action, some high flying as well. Very brutal match. But when it came down to it, Ricochet was able to get the best of Mark Briscoe and was eventually able to shove him into the ambulance and close both doors. Ricochet, your winner of the stretcher match. Was really hoping Mark Briscoe would win because it's been a while since he's really won a high-profile match. But yeah, it's kind of a bummer. But Ricochet, your winner. It is what it is. All right, let's go to our next match, our next title match. Here it is. All right, next title match. We have the AEW World Tag Team Championships on the line. The champs, the Hurt Syndicate. Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin defending against the Sons of Texas, which are Sammy Guevara and the Natural Dustin Rhodes. Of course, they are currently the ROH World Tag Team Champions. Match was alright. I mean, I didn't see it as anything special. MJF even accompanied the Hurt Syndicate. And he interfered a little bit. But it was nice to see that him and Bobby Lashley had a moment where they embraced before Bobby Lashley took Dustin out with a spear. But, I mean, overall, nothing crazy special with this match. I think it did what it was supposed to. Sons of Texas weren't winning. They had some moments, but they weren't winning. Let's keep it real. They weren't winning. Anyway, Shelton Benjamin finishes off Sammy Guevara. He hit a really nasty corner knee strike and then topped it off with a super kick to drop Sammy. Pinned him for the 3 count. Hurt Syndicate, still your AEW World Tag Team Champions. Like I said, not surprised there. Didn't expect anything less. All right, let's go to our next match, which was also a banger and another title match. Alrighty, we had the AEW Continental Championship on the line as the champion, the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada, defending against Speedball Mike Bailey. Excellent match between these two. Went back and forth, trading their best moves and a lot of high flying from Speedball. Match went just a little over 16 minutes, but very intense. A showdown that I hope we get to see again at some point. Speedball got really close, came really, really close, but what a counter drop kick from Okada as Speedball was in the middle of doing an Ultimate Weapon. I mean, caught him good. And then finally knocked him off with a Rainmaker. Pinned him for the 1-2-3. Okada, another successful defense of the Continental Championship. But like I said, Speedball put up an excellent fight. That match was fire. It was straight fire. But who can stop Okada? Who's going to be able to dethrone Okada? Okada now has 434 days as Continental Champion, and he has 12 successful defenses. It's crazy. 12 successful defenses. So, there's no telling. There's no telling when, or actually, I'm sorry, 11. I miscounted. 11 successful defenses. But still, not bad at all. Not bad at all. So, well, who's going to be the one to dethrone Okada? Remains to be seen. Remains to be seen. All right, now back to the ladies for this next title match. All right, the AEW Women's World Championship. It's the champion, Timeless Toni Storm, defended against Mina Shirakawa. Once again, another title opportunity for Mina. Match lasted just under 16 minutes. But great back and forth action between both of these ladies. Of course, they faced off for this title before. So, definitely good to see them go at it again. Definitely was back and forth. And Mina came really, really close. But after a headbutt transition into a Storm Zero, Timeless Toni Storm got the pin for the 3 count. And once again, still your AEW Women's World Champion, Toni Storm, defeating Mina for the 2nd time. And then afterwards, they share a sportsmanship kiss. But with that being said, we now know that it will be Mercedes Moné versus Timeless Toni Storm at All In Texas. But as I've said previously, they need to have Mercedes drop the TBS title before All In. Like, they've got to. If they're planning on actually putting this AEW Women's World Championship on Mercedes, they better have her drop that TBS title. Okay. Next match. I'm kind of surprised this match was the third from the main event. I was kind of surprised. But it's the Anarchy in the Arena match. You have the team of Kenny Omega, Willow Nightingale, Swerve Strickland, Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Katsuyori Shibata taking on the Young Bucks, of course, Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson, and the Death Riders of Marina Shafir, Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, and Jon Moxley. And, of course, they were doing this match to the beat of Drowning Pool's Bodies. Yes. Let the bodies hit the floor. Courtesy of Drowning Pool. Match lasted over almost 35 and a half minutes, which was expected. I mean, that's usually... Anarchy in the Arena is usually their long match whenever they do it. The match was all over the arena, as expected. Backstage, outside, in the ring, outside of the ring, all over the place. All sorts of different spots. We saw a fork being used, a staple gun being used, chairs, trash can lids, tables, an exploding table, attack-filled tennis shoes. Like, it was crazy. It was crazy. All sorts of spots. Even a golf club, courtesy of Hook. But yeah, Hook came in and hit Claudio with the golf club. And when he was invited into the ring by Samoa Joe and the rest of the team, he refused and left. So, not sure what that was about. Gabe Kidd even showed up and tried to help out the Death Riders and Young Bucks in this one. But at the end of the day, it would be Swerve getting the victory for his team. He ended up pinning Matt Jackson for the 3 count after hitting a swerve stomp with the thumbtack shoes on. So, Swerve, the Ops, Kenny Omega, your winners. Oh, Willow Nightingale. Which, there was a moment where she was actually cuffed. Her head or ear was cuffed to the turnbuckle post. I was just like, oh crap. Or was chained to it. But there are your winners in Anarchy in the Arena. It was very entertaining match, action-packed, and like I said, it was cool seeing Kenny Omega get on the mic and like, let's get some fitting music, and then they put on Bodies by Drowning Pool. And they just kept looping that. But great match. Overall, great match. Very fun, very entertaining. All right, let's go to the next match. Trios action. Not sure why they had this match after Anarchy in Arena. I don't know why they did that. But Trios match, Paragons, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, Adam Cole versus the Don Callis family of Konosuke Takeshita, Kyle Fletcher, and Josh Alexander. Match was alright. Nothing crazy special. But it was only 12 minutes, 48 seconds. Like I said, that's why I really don't know why they did this match after Anarchy in the Arena. Like, that made no sense to me. But, I mean, match was alright. Just nothing really crazy special with this one. But, Kyle Fletcher ended up pinning Kyle O'Reilly. Kyle on Kyle. Pinned him after hitting the sheer drop brainbuster. Don Callis family for the win. Started to beat down on Paragon more. But then Brody King, Tomohiro Ishii, and Hiroshi Tanahashi show up to combat the Don Callis family. And yeah, Tanahashi standing strong with Paragon. Even though Paragon did take the L. But hey, Hiroshi Tanahashi with an appearance at AEW Double or Nothing 2025. So, that's pretty cool. And then the main event of Double or Nothing 2025 came down to this. We had the men's Owen Hart Foundation Cup Tournament Finals, where we had the aerial assassin Will Ospreay versus Hangman Adam Page. both these guys went to war. They definitely went to war for almost 37 minutes. And it was definitely fitting of the main event. Because I figured it was either going to be something like that or Anarchy in the Arena. But this was the main event, and it definitely delivered. Back and forth between Ospreay and Hangman. I mean, trading buckshot lariats and hidden blades, even a Stormbreaker. Just back and forth. These two tore each other apart. Counter after counter after counter. I mean, that's really the gist of this match, and it was beautiful. It was amazing. But when it was all said and done, it would be Hangman Adam Page that got the last laugh. One final buckshot lariat, takes out Will Ospreay, and pinned him for the 1-2-3. And ladies and gentlemen, Hangman Adam Page is your winner of the men's Owen Hart Foundation Cup tournament. Which means he will go on to All In Texas to challenge Jon Moxley for the AEW World Championship. And a great sign of sportsmanship after the match, Hangman going back to the ring, shaking hands with Will Ospreay. So, great finish, great ending. But yeah, Mercedes Moné and Hangman Adam Page, your Owen Hart Foundation Cup tournament winners. So, they will get their respective title shots at All In Texas. But, pretty solid pay-per-view for AEW. Like I said, you know, Battleground and Double or Nothing, they both were good. They both were good. But yeah, a lot happened over Memorial Day weekend for sure. So, will be interesting to see what's in store coming up as we get ready to sooner or later close out the month of May and move towards the summer season. But anyway, that's all that I have for this video. First off, let me know your thoughts on the Best of Super Juniors tournament. Who do you think will make it out of the A block and B block? Who do you think will win the whole thing? Let me know what you thought about WWE Battleground Tampa. What did you think of the matches there? How do you feel about Trick Williams winning the TNA World Championship? And let me know your thoughts on AEW Double or Nothing 2025. What did you think of the matches? Were your predictions correct? Let me know your thoughts. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell while you're at it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. For another Pro Wrestling Talk, brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the YouTube, the Tube. My name is Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. Hope everybody had a blessed Memorial Day, and I will see y'all in the next video and our live stream. Later.